Hi, welcome back everybody. Tony from No Guts, No Gluten. Today we're going to be doing a gluten-free stuffing because it's getting to be that time of year again. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make my gluten-free stuffing. And then it's still too early for a turkey, so I got a chicken. We're going to stuff the chicken, roast the chicken, and kind of do like a mock Thanksgiving dinner. I got some sweet potatoes. I'll show you what I do. Sweet potatoes, yams, whatever you want to call them. How I make mine, not necessarily how you have to make yours. So we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, so I got some bread. I got two different kinds. The Cannon Bakehouse Hawaiian sweet gluten-free bread. So that's going to give it a little bit of a sweet taste. And then this is my go-to bread for sandwiches and everything. And I have some extra hamburger buns that I didn't use. Stuffing. And you're going to need celery, onions, eggs, poultry seasoning. Now, if you don't want to use the poultry seasoning and you'd like to add your seasoning separate, like sage, cumin, and that kind of stuff, you're more than welcome to do that. Mine is just, to show you how you add your spices however you want. And we're going to get started. I'm going to go ahead and get the celery and onions. We're going to saute those together in some butter. I'm going to go ahead and get those diced and in the pan. And once I do that, I'll bring you back. And while I'm doing this, I might as well show you how to do a gluten-free gravy also. So we'll get that started. These leaves here and your celery that, we're going to chop up, the ends and everything, we're going to put that into the stock also. So we'll do that and I'll show you that process. All right, as you can see, we got the chicken stock in the pot and got some onion and some celery. This is a celery that is more inside of the celery stalk. So you don't usually use these pieces anyway. So I chop them up just to flavor this, the gravy. Poultry seasoning to this, and then we're going to bring it up to a boil, then let it simmer. Then, of course, Thanksgiving time, you use turkey stock instead of chicken stock or broth. I got my chicken stock at Giant Eagle, chicken broth at Giant Eagle, and it's gluten-free. And you always want to, check to make sure, because not all broths are gluten-free. So let's give it a little stir. And then we're going to make a roux to thicken this, and I'll show you how to do that once it's ready. So bring us up to a boil, and then we'll taste it to see if we need to add anything else, and then we'll thicken it. All right, in the meantime, let's go back to the stuffing. All right, so for the stuffing, we're going to go ahead and chop up some celery and onion and get that sauteed in a pan in some butter. So we're just going to take, 2 tablespoons of butter. So for the celery, I'm going to start off with 2 stalks, and then we'll see. No, let's do 3. So I don't know if everybody peels theirs or not, but nothing I hate worse is those strings. So we're just gonna give a quick peel. We'll go ahead. And whatever size you want to use to chop them up. But if you make them uniform, you could probably like stack them a little bit easier. Throw that in the stock. All right. I'll bring you over. It came up to a boil. Now I just turned the heat down and we're going to let it simmer for probably about 15 minutes just to get everything nice and soft. And we'll taste it for flavor. All right, now we're going to get our celery ready to dice. So basically all you want to do, make sure you get rid of all the strings. Just usually take your knife and then go down, depending on the size of the celery, 3 or 4 times. And then remember, you want to keep your thumb and fingers out of the way, so take your thumb behind. And that's all you do. And then move on to the next bunch. All right, now we're going to chop up our onion. And then if you remember a couple videos ago, I showed you a couple of different ways to cut an onion. So, you know, we can cut it like this, about 3 times, you know, all the way through, and then like this. Or we just cut it like this. And then like a dat. Both ways gives you the same product. They dice the same. So this way saves time. And then once you get to the edge, and that's all you do. Just run my knife through there just to make sure I got everything chopped. All right. So we're going to add them to our celery, and then we're going to take them over and get them in the butter. Excuse me. All right. All right, so let's take you over there. All right, we got our butter hot. So we're going to saute our onions and celery. So we can add a little bit of seasoning to this, because you want to season in layers so everything tastes a-okay. So I'm going to add a little bit of poultry seasoning, and then we're going to add a little bit of poultry seasoning when we mix it also in the bread. So let me get that going. And if you have a big shaker like that with the big holes, just grab yourself a little spoon. Now I'm not measuring. I'm just using it so I don't dump a whole lot in and get too much. Okay. Or if you wanted to tape, a couple of these holes up, that'd be fine too. All right, so over here we have our stock going. So let's give that a taste. And if you wanted to add carrots in here too, that's quite all right. You're flavoring, this for you. So whatever you'd like your stock to taste like. I think that's good with a little bit of poultry seasoning we put in there. I definitely can taste it. Also, I have some drippings from a roast chicken that I got from Sam's Club, rotisserie chicken. So I saved the juice and everything from it. So I'm going to add that in there for flavoring. And of course, for Thanksgiving, can't believe I did that. For Thanksgiving, you want to add the turkey drippings in there. Okay. So while this is sauteing, go ahead and turn that down a little bit. You just want these translucent, which means like they look clear. The onions anyway. The celery won't look clear, but you want those cooked a little bit. And then let's go over and get the bread cubed up for the stuffing. All right, so I have some leftover bread, and we're just going to go ahead and cube it. I got some leftover hamburger buns. So whatever kind of leftover bread you have, or you want to use, if you don't have any leftover, you can just use the whole loaf or whatever. But a lot of people don't use these for sandwiches, so don't throw these away. Put them in the freezer and they add up. So you paid for the whole loaf, you might as well use the whole loaf. So I'm just going to go ahead and cube. And with gluten-free bread, it's kind of hard anyway. So a lot of people, when I used to make regular stuffing, I would let the bread dry out for a while. But with the gluten-free bread, You know, it's ready to go, so it'll do what we need it to do. So I'll go ahead and get these cubed up, and I'll bring you back as soon as I'm done. All right, now that I got the bread cubed, if you wanted to cube it and then leave it out for a couple hours so you know it gets like crouton-y, is that a word, crouton-y? Crouton-like, you can, but I'm going to go ahead and mix it up just like this here, and then I'm going to dump in my breadcrumbs, or my cube bread. So I'm going to go with 3 eggs, and then the celery and onions that we put in. There they are. Yeah, I know. Just dump them in. We're going to mix it up anyway. I can hear people out there, just dump it in. Now you can do these, you know, the celery and onions ahead of time, so they're not so hot to cut, to touch rather. And you don't want to cook the eggs. I can still feel the heat off of this, so I'm going to go ahead and scramble the eggs and let this cool a little bit longer. And then we're going to add the seasoning and some gluten-free chicken broth. All right, this cooled down a little bit. I got my 3 eggs beaten. So we're going to go ahead and add that. Then we're going to add some poultry seasoning. Okay. We're going to add some chicken stock. But again, you know, closer to Thanksgiving, you can add your turkey stock or turkey broth. So behind me, I have a pan of butter and oil heating up. And once we get this mixed up, we're going to go ahead and fry this up in a pan. We go ahead and lower that. Now we want this kind of wet, so just add a little bit of chicken broth at a time. Make sure I get everything incorporated. And if you're more of a celery and onion person, add more. If you're less, I think we put in just a perfect amount. I can see it. And you just want to taste of it in every bite. So we're going to add another. Right now I'm about half of the container. And then you're going to stuff it in the turkey. You don't want it too moist. But then, you know, some people don't like it in the turkey. So also, after we pan fry this, we're going to throw it in the oven to finish it. So I think we need a little bit more. Anybody that's eaten gluten-free bread knows how dry it is. And it sucks up the moisture. So I think that's That's going to about get it. So add some more. And then whatever seasonings you like, you can add them. This is just a basic showing you step instructions. All right. So I think that's about good. Yeah, that's about good. All right, so let's take it over to the pan and we'll get it frying up. All right. Yeah. Put it in there. You can almost smell like how much seasoning that you have in there. So I think that's about good. We're going to do that in 2 batches. So we'll put the rest over here. We'll let that go a little bit. So like right now is when all the flavor is going to start. And then as it cooks, it's going to release some smells. So you're going to say, oh, maybe I need some more poultry seasoning in there. We're going to let this fry up a little bit. Then we're going to taste it, add what we need, and then we're going to finish it off in the oven. And we're going to get back to the gravy, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do some sweet potatoes or yams. All right, now we got the stuffing. It's starting to brown. Now we don't want to overcook it because we're going to finish it off in the oven. So once it starts getting brown, like this, because we're going to stuff it in the bird. That's what kind of you want everything to look like. So right now this is probably about 8 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and pull that off, put it in a pan, and then start our second batch. So then we're just doing oil and butter. A couple tablespoons. Same way with the butter. And then I did add some poultry seasoning, a little bit more to the stuffing. All right. We'll get that moved around. Take this off. All right, we'll get that browned up and I'll bring it back. Okay, we're going to use an oven ready bag from Reynolds. It's pretty easy. Keeps all the juices and flavoring inside. So it says a tablespoon of flour, gluten-free flour. We're going to throw that in there. And we're going to close it up a little bit. And we're going to shake, shake, shake. Shake your money maker. That supposedly stops the sticking. So we got that in there. And then we're going to put it over the pan. We're going to take our chicken. I'm going to use a glove so I don't get chicken stuff all over me. So in the bag she goes. All right. So we got that in there. Let's get rid of that. Then we're going to take our stuffing. Now obviously you don't want to serve this stuffing without cooking it because it's going into raw chicken. So we're going to use all this chicken, all the stuffing in the chicken. And then we're going to season some, guess I can get that out of the way. We're going to season the top of the chicken with some poultry seasoning. All right, I'll get this bird stuffed and then we'll be back. All right, now that I got the bird stuffed, I'm going to go ahead and season it with some poultry seasoning. I also rubbed it with a little bit of butter to help the seasoning stick some. That option is up to you. Okay. Now that that's done, we're going to close it up and just follow the instructions on the box. You know, and there's ties in there. Right here. I knew they were there. So we're going to, I believe you leave it a little bit loose and then twist it and then tie it. As tight as you can. Okay. And then just follow, like I said, follow the instructions on the instruction sheet there. It has for turkeys, poultry, beef, lamb, pork, smoked pork. So we got a chicken and we're going to, let's see, a whole chicken. And that was like a 6-pound chicken. So we're going to go about an hour and a half. So in the oven she goes. And I also got the stuffing over there. We're going to put that in the oven at the same time, not for an hour and a half, but probably half hour, and we'll go from there. All right. Now let's strain our stock for our gravy. And like I said earlier, we're going to make a roux. And of course, if this was closer to Thanksgiving, obviously when you're doing a turkey, you'd have the giblets and the neck and everything. If you're into that kind of stuff, that would go in here also. So we got that strained. Now we're going to make a roux. And all a roux is equal parts flour and butter. So we're going to use gluten-free flour, of course, because it's a gluten-free gravy we're making, and butter. All right, let's get the roux started. All right, so we got 2 tablespoons of butter in there, and we're gonna let this mix melt down a little bit, and then we're just gonna mix in 2 tablespoons of gluten-free flour. And we're just gonna let this cook down. And then if this doesn't thicken the gravy as thick as you like, just add another, equal parts of flour and butter. So that's basically all it is to it. You want to let the flour cook out a little bit. And then once this is cooked a little bit, go ahead and lower the heat down a little bit. Then we're going to add it to the stock. All right, we're going to bring our stock back up to a boil. And basically that's all, all there is to it. Now I know people use cornstarch. You can use cornstarch, that's perfectly fine. But I found that if you use cornstarch, the gravy seems to be, bring you up here while I'm talking to you. The gravy seems to be a little gluteny, well, not gluteny, like jelly when you go to reheat it. Or, it's in a refrigerator after, you eat and everything. This way, I've found the roux, the gravy stays gravy and gravy-like. So once this comes up to boil, we'll add the roux to it and thicken it up. All right, now that we're back up to a boil, let's go ahead and add the roux. Get a spatula here. Now you can always add this a little bit at a time, so if it gets to your thickness, your liking, and drop the heat a little bit. So remember, this was 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of gluten-free flour. So it looks like we might have to go a little bit more. But you always want to let it cook down. Continue to boil to see how thick it gets. So you can see it's starting to thicken up. And then you always want to do a spoon test to test the back of it. See, that's nowhere thick. You see there's nothing on the spoon. So, all right, we'll do 2 more tablespoons of butter and 2 more tablespoons of flour. All right, so we got that cooked down. We're going to go ahead and add a little bit more. Again, you want to add slowly and let it cook. All right, as you saw, I added a touch bit more. So let's give her the spoon test. You see a coating on there. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So we'll let that simmer a little bit, finish cooking out the roux. All right, so the stuffing's out of the oven. I'll show you that. All right, there's the stuffing. Now, at Thanksgiving, I would serve this to the people who don't like it in the bird. And, so we would just heat this up Thanksgiving Day or, whenever you're going to serve it. And let's give that a try. Good, good. Yep, you can definitely taste the poultry seasoning, the celery, the onions. So I am going to save this. I'm going to put it in the freezer. So next time I have a chicken or anything like that, I can pull this out, or pork chops or whatever. I'm going to pull this out and serve it. So I'll get that put away, and then we'll go back to the gravy. All right. You can see we got our gravy, and it's pretty thick. So we're going to do the spoon test. I don't know if you can see. So that's about where you want it. And we're just going to leave it thicken up a little bit more. And while that's finishing up, I got some yams that I'm candying. So I just got some pineapple juice, Splenda brown sugar, some butter, and maybe 3 or 4 tablespoons of syrup. So you want to be very gentle with these, but you kind of want to flip them to get the coating all over. Basically, you just want to let these go and gently flip them every now and then. So that's basically all you have to do for those candied yams. All right, after your yams cook for a little bit, you can go ahead and add some pineapple. And if you don't like pineapple, you don't have to add it. You don't have to add the pineapple juice in here either. But this is just how I grew up with it and how I like to eat it. So, all right, we'll let that go a little bit. Our gravy's doing nicely. And we got about another 30 minutes or so for the chicken. When that gets done, we'll go ahead and do the mashed potatoes. I'm just going to do instant mashed potatoes and cream corn, and I have a whole dinner. All right, we'll get back to you. All right, we got everything done. Chicken's done, mashed potatoes are done, cream corn's done, the yams are done, the gravy's done. So let's get her sliced up and give her a try. Okay. Man, that was juicy. Let's get this stuffing out. And basic steps. Like this is a turkey. I'm just going to get the stuffing out here. And then all this juice would go, in the gravy. So, all right, that's where we're at for now. Get all this stuffing out. So let's go ahead and cut it down. The oven bags definitely keep in the juices. Yeah. To find the, there you go. And then if you have an electric knife would work too. All right, let's get her plate here. And some breasts. Some mashed potatoes. I'm gonna make a little well. Some stuffing. Some yams. And some cream corn. Happy mock Thanksgiving to me. Oh, can't forget the gravy. See that? I don't know what I want to try first. Some stuffing. Got to bring you up here for this. There you go. Oh yeah. Taste the poultry seasoning, celery, onion. Here's some turkey, some chicken. I'll check the mic. Still working. Some mashed potatoes. Oh yeah. Cream corn. And the yams. All right, another successful video. Let me show you everything here. And gravy, chicken stuffing, cream corn, mashed potatoes, candied yams. All right, there's your little mock Thanksgiving. And I invited my family to share this feast with me. I don't think anybody's coming. Their loss. So, all right, until next time, I'm Tony. No guts, no gluten. Thanks for watching. Your gluten-free mock Thanksgiving. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And for everybody who's left me a comment in other videos, I appreciate your comments. And we're still doing that giveaway. We need 125 subscribers. I think we're at 73, 74, 75, something like that. We can do it. And if you don't want the baked goods, I'll send you a gift card or something. So it's pretty easy. Things you can do ahead of time for Thanksgiving. The stuffing, you can do that and freeze it. You can do the yams ahead of time. You can do, you could probably do the gravy a couple days ahead of time. The more you get done before Thanksgiving, the less you have to do on Thanksgiving Day if you're having Thanksgiving on that day. So, yeah, 125 subscribers, new and old, a giveaway, pastries, gluten-free pastries, and, like and subscribe, and you know, I appreciate everybody and, you know, all the comments, like I said, I've been getting. I really do appreciate it. So if there's something you want me to see or something to make, let me know in the comments and I'll see it. So stay tuned. Some videos in the future are going to be gluten-free pumpkin rolls, gluten-free lady locks. I did a nut roll video already, gluten-free nut roll. I did a gluten-free biscotti video. I have a video of gluten-free pizzelles. So yeah, I mean, this was pretty simple. You know, just got my chicken from a local grocery store in Saxonburg, and you know, it's all pretty easy. So thanks again for watching, and again, I do appreciate everybody who watches and leaves me a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next video.